Like there's crazy stuff happening in the UK where people are getting like 2-3 year prison sentences for Facebook posts. Yeah, I don't think I should go to visit Britain because they're gonna drag out some tweet and say 2 years in prison for this tweet or something like that.
So we've got Elon Musk, owner of X and Tesla, complaining that he's been snubbed. He was invited this year. He was invited last year. He wasn't invited this year. Could it be because of his protestations during the protests? The UK is no longer a safe country. Could it be that he's quite friendly towards Donald Trump, who we know members of the cabinet, including David Lammy, don't like very much?
He did tweet, or X, or whatever you now call it, after the riots we suffered in this country, that Britain was facing civil war. If Elon Musk comes to the UK, the only story in town is going to be, what is Elon Musk?
Elon Musk has escalated his ongoing confrontation with the British government, characterising the United Kingdom as a tyrannical police state while endorsing a petition advocating for a new general election. The former owner of significant enterprises and an advisor to US President-elect Donald Trump, Musk has dedicated a substantial portion of the year to a contentious dispute with Britain's newly established centre-left Labour administration.
Could Prime Minister Keir Starmer be facing another general election soon? Well, large parts of the public certainly seem to be demanding one. A petition accusing the Labour government of going back on its pre-election promises and calling for a fresh election has now received 2.3 million signatures on the government's petitions website.
A source reportedly close to Tony Blair has suggested that Keir Starmer's primary challenge lies not only in the perceived ineffectiveness of his ministers and aides, but also in the characterisation of his administration as being predominantly composed of individuals with backgrounds in librarianship and academia. While this analogy might seem unduly disparaging to those professions, the implication is clear. According to this individual, Starmer's government is viewed as lacking both creativity and practical responsiveness, leaving it ill-equipped to address the relentless stream of crises that confront the Prime Minister's office. Furthermore, the source criticizes a perceived intellectual homogeneity within the administration's leadership, asserting that the absence of diverse perspectives stifles innovation and adaptability in governance.
Starmer is apparently threatening to give everybody a respect order that has signed the petition.
I understand that some people won't like the changes that we've made. But I say this with all candour. If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
The current government's demeanour, characterised by a methodical, overly academic detachment, has raised concerns among many adherents of Tony Blair's political legacy. While Blair himself remains enigmatically inscrutable, his former allies express unease over the direction and tone of Starmer's administration. Some Blairite observers contend that while Starmer's aides commend the Prime Minister's decisive and assertive approach, they appear to conflate acts of ruthless personnel management and the adoption of uncompromisingly hardline Blairite positions, particularly on contentious issues such as immigration, with the possession of a coherent, publicly articulated vision pursued with unwavering focus. However, the Blairite contingent itself is far from monolithic. Many of its key figures are, in fact, actively involved in Starmer's leadership. Morgan McSweeney, widely regarded as the Prime Minister's most influential advisor, is not a traditional Blairite, yet he has earned the endorsement of Peter Mandelson as a formidable and pragmatic centrist strategist. Similarly, Matthew Doyle, Starmer's head of communications, has been a long-standing ally and epitomizes the ethos of the New Labour movement. Moreover, the cabinet includes a significant representation of Blairite-aligned individuals, further reinforcing the ideological continuity within the party's higher echelons.
Cares deeply about those who can't afford to put the heating on. Oh, hang on a minute, sorry, that was before the election when he was begging for your vote. Sorry, I forgot. Since then, of course, he's taken away the £300 winter fuel payment for all but the poorest of pensioners and condemns millions of OAPs to freeze this winter. Don't take my word for it either. When Labour were accusing the Tories of wanting to do the same thing when they were in government, they didn't, by the way, Labour's own research suggested up to 4,000 pensioners would die as a result. And damning new research today from Marie Curie shows more than 40,000 terminally ill pensioners have lost their winter fuel allowance thanks to this government. Can you believe that in 2024? They are literally choosing to heat or eat. So what does the Prime Minister do?
The Labour leader, who was once regarded as a figure of considerable promise, is now confronting escalating allegations of overreach and the employment of authoritarian measures. These criticisms have intensified amidst reports alleging that individuals are being singled out and subjected to punitive actions merely for endorsing a petition. This growing controversy is rapidly developing into a significant political scandal. The petition in question, which has garnered the support of millions, calls for the convening of fresh general elections, a demand driven by pervasive dissatisfaction with Keir Starmer's leadership and its perceived shortcomings.
To dismiss 2 million people out of hand straight away, I think it comes across as arrogant, and I think that's what has resonated with a lot of people out there, and that's why they are online signing this petition. The lawyers was told to get into power, surely there should be questions asked.
Which lie in particular has upset you?
Well, there's a few to be truthful. The national insurance, that's going to hit.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
Want the election to go again?
It's now
is it 2 million now?
It's now just over 2 million.
Do you feel the pressure?
I'm not surprised that many of them want a rerun. That isn't how our system works. There will be plenty of people who didn't want us in the first place. So, look, what I focus on is the decisions that I have.
This movement transcends the boundaries of mere political protest. It constitutes a direct and urgent call for systemic change. While its considerable success in the digital sphere underscores its resonance with the public, it is unlikely, in and of itself, to compel the initiation of a general election.
This was supposed to be a honeymoon period. The first 100 days. It now turns out that Keir Starmer is the least popular leader after 100 days, having gone into that election the most popular by a mile.
One of the underlying reasons for this circumstance can be articulated as follows.
Why?
Labour would freeze council tax next year. Yes, you heard it right. Not a penny more on your council tax. Not a penny more than the bill you paid.
England has gone back to the Tudor times, not America. You've just gone back 400 years with this government that you've got.
From your perspective, from your point of view, there's really nothing that Keir Starmer can do to build a bridge.
No, he needs to resign. He needs to resign before 4 years. I think he needs to resign in the next 3 months. And the other thing is, the things that these people that he's put into cabinet posts have said about Trump are not gross. They are way beyond gross. So in the past, if somebody had said things like they've said about Trump, it would really be a dueling matter. So if somebody had said things like that a few 150 years ago, they would be challenged to a duel.
How would you grade the Labour Party? A, B, C, D minus?
Well, I think in terms of how they've handled the last 100 days, could do better. I mean, they won an impressive outcome in terms of the general election, although the share of the vote, let's be honest, was not as high as they wanted. But I think of, what's been revealed and is concerning is that given all their planning to win the general election, you might have thought that the 100 days would be pretty well planned as well. But they started off with that announcement about the winter fuel payment, which has run every single day ever since. We've had the freebies situation as well, and then we've had this sort of, battle in number 10 between Sue Gray and others, briefing. That's not the honeymoon that you want, and it's been self-inflicted.
So your view is they just simply weren't adequately prepared for government?
I think they just hadn't really thought through. I think they're prepared for government. I think they've got lots of policies and good ideas, some of it to do with employment rights that you've just highlighted. The problem is these other things, the winter fuel payment, the freebies, people at loggerheads in number 10.